morning. Today I want to go over a couple things with you guys. I know that there is a heat advisory all over the United States. So if you do go outside today, make sure you stay hydrated. Hydration is the foundation of a healthy body. Our bodies are majority water, so you do want to make sure that you stay hydrated so all of your molecular functions and all of your biology can do what it's supposed to do, because a lot of it does require water. So always stay hydrated, especially on hot days like today. If you work outside, make sure that you take breaks. You always want to listen to your body. Hey, Kelly. You always want to listen to your body if you're feeling overheated or something like that. You just want to make sure you stay hydrated. I don't know if people know, but if you do get a heat stroke after the first one, you're more prone to get another one. So that's even more reason just to play it safe. I've definitely pushed myself to the verge of a heat stroke if not, so you definitely want to take care of that. Like I said, that is the foundation to a healthy body. And then I also wanted to get on here and talk about hoop sizes. I know I'm always talking about nutrition, but I'm never really mentioning my hoops. So hoop sizing can be complicated for sure. I remember struggling with it when I first started. People tend to be like a creature of habit, so if they like one size, they'll stick with it. So we do have an option where you can get a hoop extender. It's just like an extension for a hula hoop. So say you buy a 30-inch hoop, you can get a 4-inch hoop extender, so you can have a size 30 or a size 34. It gives you the option to experiment with sizes, because hoops are expensive. People don't want to throw away money on a size that they don't know if they'd even like. So that's a good way to try to experiment with sizing for sure. A lot of people even will buy my biggest hoops and then buy a hoop extender with it because they want the larger diameter. People really get creative with them. I think I'm one of the only hoop shops that do make the hoop extenders. I was definitely the first one, if other ones are making them. But you can even order like 2 at a time. You can do a 1-inch and a 4-inch, so you can change your hoop by either 1-inch, 4-inch, or if you put both of them, it would be 5 inches. So it's an option just to experiment with sizes. I honestly didn't know what my favorite size was until I started making hoops. So it can be really hard to pick a size. I think I started with a 36, which was pretty difficult to learn some on-body tricks. The bigger the hula hoop, the better for learning on-body tricks. And when we say on-body, we mean it's like on your waist, on your neck, on your body, not off your body. Like off body would be considered using your hands, even your legs, or just like the range around your body. So 36 is really the smallest you should get, and then you have to be really motivated and willing to have a lot of lack of success before you have success. The bigger the hoop, the better for you for learning on body for sure. And then I think after I went to 36, I went down to a 34, which was a good size. It just wasn't quite small enough for my off-body stuff because my arms are short. So it was a little awkward still, like doing isolations because of the bigger diameter. So that's something to think about, like your arm length, like from the center of your chest out, would be a good measurement for an off-body hoop, depending on like I said, your arm length. Then after a 32, I went down to a 30, which is kind of my sweet spot. I stayed there for a long time. And then I graduated. I was trying to get down into the 27-ish range, 26 to 29 I experimented with, and I could never really find the exact size that I wanted, so I just kept sticking with the same one that I knew. I think it was 29. So the hoop extender was a way for me to try to solve that problem for not just myself but for everyone else in the community, because a lot of us do buy maybe our favorite color hula hoop and it's just not in the right size. So we do have hoop extenders on my Etsy and then on my website. My website is www.idreamofhoops.com.co. If you're not familiar with hula hooping, it is made for all age groups. We have supplied hula hoops to kindergarten classes all the way to nursing home classes, workout classes. So they are for all ages. You can adjust your intensity, or you can cater it to your own body depending if you have any ailments. So that's the really cool thing about hooping, is that you can personalize it for yourself. It's kind of like, you know how you can personalize your diet, you can personalize your hula hoop workout. If you're trying to focus on a certain area, then you can put more focus on that area. If you have a problem area, or if you have some type of prior ailment, then you can work around that so you don't re-aggravate it or something of that nature. So it really is like something that you can do just watching TV. You can pick it up at any time, any place. Like, that is the beautiful thing about it. That's what I have always loved about it, is the convenience factor. You can just grab it. Like, a lot of times, this is my new secret, so let me let you guys in on this. Some nights when I'm just being restless and bored and I'm hungry, not because I'm hungry because I'm bored, I'll sit there, I'll be like, oh, what can I eat? And then instead of go and grab a snack, I'll just grab my hoop and I'll hoop for, even if it's just 5 minutes, it's better than a snack. So I've always kind of used hooping to cope and deal with things. I know I told you guys before, I don't know if you were here the first time, but I did quit smoking cigarettes by hula hooping with the same concept, just replacing the bad habit with a good habit. So that's a little secret. If you're just sitting up at night and you're being bored and restless and you're wanting to snack, knowing that you already had your snacks for the night, or you had a big supper, then you can grab your hoop, do a quick 5-minute session, and it's crazy. It's something in your brain, like it'll click. It'll just like, okay, snack is gone, now I'm focused on this new hula hoop move that I've been working on. Or it just like, it gets your brain out of that fixation on the snack. So that's my little secret for that. But okay, so let's get back to sizing. Whenever you're starting, really my recommendation would be, like I said, 36, the smallest. I do make beginner hoops smaller just from people asking about them. And depending, like I said, if you're really petite or really short, then a 32-inch beginner hoop can work for you. It can really work for anyone, but it will take a lot more motivation than a bigger hoop, or just a lot more time and dedication to learn. Then after you get settled into your bigger hoop, I would say 30 to 35 would be a good secondary range where you can experiment with the on-body tricks that you learn. Then you can also experiment with some off-body tricks. The grip tape, it does help. You find it on most beginner hoops. It's not a necessity. It does help prevent the hoop from sliding. So if that's something that you struggle with, or say you wear like clothes while you're hooping that is slippery, like tights, some of the tights can be slippery to the hoop, then the grip tape will definitely help you there. Or if it's a performance hoop or something, then always want to have your grip tape, but it's not required by any means. And then I've really found a love, and I never bought like a really small hoop before I started making them. But I do, because I am petite, I always struggled with off body a little bit, just making it like flowy and natural. It just kind of always felt boxy and out of my reach, kind of, if that makes sense. I could still reach it, but it's just my arm motions were doing more awkward, bigger motions. But I do play with some of the hoops that I make, and I really found a love for like a 24-inch, which is almost impossible to do on-body tricks with. So that's really more of an off-body hoop. So every hoop has its pros and its cons. There's no perfect size for every trick or every person, so it can be a little complicated to find your right size sometimes. That's why I thought that the hoop extenders would be a good idea. Like I said, people have gotten, even more creative than my thought process behind it, like ordering two or making a hoop bigger because the biggest size wasn't big enough. So, okay, let me get the hoop extender, and then now I can get a 44-inch hoop. So I thought that was really cool, a cool concept, and then a money-saving way for you to have multiple options. And like, say even if this is your hoop that you're going to travel with, instead of having to bring two hoops, like an on-body hoop and an off-body hoop, then you can bring just your hoop extender. So it's nice to see everyone here. Thank you for joining me. If you guys have any questions about hoop sizing, definitely just drop it and let me know, and I can give you, to the best of my knowledge, some advice on picking the right hoop size for yourself. But I do remember just being curious about all the sizes for years. So I wanted to kind of, like I said, I'm a very curious person. I wanted to fill that void for not just myself, but for other people, so that they can find the perfect size and even experiment a little bit. And then I'm going to be working on some more painted hoops soon. Most of my painted hoops, I do have some on my Etsy, but I try to put my more exclusive designs on my website to encourage traffic there. So you will find probably more painted hoops on my website than on my Etsy. And like I said, that's just kind of to get people to my website. So I have these neon colors. I've been trying to think what I can do with like spray painting them. The only thing is, whenever you flip you have to do it at a time. So whenever you flip the hoop, sometimes you'll get some pool of paint or some movement of the paint. So there will be like some chipping. So it is hard to get them like completely solid state, if that makes sense, like color wise. But I'll probably be doing that live on here, so stay tuned for that. And then I do like hand paint some with like a paintbrush. I don't know if that's something you guys would find interesting. I know it would be a little slow on the lives, but I think that it might be something that people would enjoy watching. So if you would, just let me know. I would love to share the making process, because a lot of my hoops take a lot of time, they take a lot of love, so I would love to share the process with you guys. There's a lady, she does, I wish I knew her name, I'm gonna have to look it up and share it with you guys, but she does like these abstract paintings, and she'll do them live, and it's just so interesting. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh my god, look how beautiful that is, and then like she'll like go and put some paint right over the section that I thought was so pretty. So it's like, it's just intriguing, and different people's thought patterns and stuff. So it's something that I think would be interesting and cool to share with you guys. You know, it might make people more inclined to purchase that specific hoop. I know a lot of the people on TikTok do it. I'm not real active on TikTok. I need to though. Always hear such good things about the algorithm, and Lord knows the other social media websites need to take notes on the algorithm. The algorithm, am I the only one? Like, it drives me crazy. Like, it'll have 2 rows of videos and the same video in both rows. Like, there's probably at this point billions plus videos on YouTube. It's like, why are you showing me the same 10 YouTube videos? Like, I used to love like social media back in the day on Facebook. It was just like chronological order. Like, it was the oldest post and the newest post at the top. So it's like, if you didn't want to read something, just keep scrolling, you know? It's like, you were the algorithm back then. Like I said, I'm curious George. Like, I want to see everything. So don't assume what I want to see algorithm. I don't know. It just drives me crazy. But I've heard that TikTok's algorithm is much better, which, and then, you know, a lot of people get a lot of traction and a lot of movement on TikTok. I do like pop in there every now and then and just post like a little something. I'm more active, most active on here for sure. I don't know, I kind of just invest myself in one social media platform. I can't do them all. It's overwhelming for my mental and my personality type. So I'll usually like hop from one. I used to be on Instagram, obsessed with Instagram. Then I saw just a plateau, lack of growth. I was putting out a lot, not getting a whole lot back. So then I hopped on over here, and I've enjoyed meeting all you guys. I love the traction that I do get on this end. So that's kind of where I've been dedicating my time. But TikTok is something I need to try to incorporate more, just to get, you know, my face out there to other people. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate everyone listening, and I just hope that I can be encouraging to one person just to make a small change to make yourself a healthier person. I graduated in dietetics, so I do have knowledge in nutrition. I don't like to shove it down people's throats. I just like to give people the information and let them do with it what they will. You know, knowledge is power. So we're just here to educate and try to maybe identify things in our daily lives that are harmful to us and things that we can improve. It's like I said, very small things, like getting a non-fluorinated toothpaste on the outside of the toothpaste aisle. Knowing what's in your shampoos. If you're having hair loss, is your shampoo maybe causing that? Feminine products are highly cross-contaminated in the factories. So maybe you can find an organic, locally made like products like that, you know, with less additives. We have no idea the amount of chemicals that we take into our body every day, just passively, you know, through food, through liquids, through the air. There's so many things that are working against us. That's why we have to make a conscious effort to try to make the best decisions that we can for our body. It really is about consistency. Consistency is key, and they say to treat nutrition just like you do addiction, that once you fall off, the best thing you can do is get back to that top number one step, pre-contemplation. Okay, I messed up, I'm contemplating about it, and then the next one will be contemplation. And then it's just a natural progression, you will fall off. You know, consistency is key, and the more consistent you get, the easier it gets. But there will be moments of weakness. Nobody is perfect, so whenever you do fall off, the faster you get back on track, the better. That's with anything. Addiction, nutrition, making better choices for your body. You know, you want to keep your skin healthy. Your skin is the biggest organ that your body has. So just think about, what am I putting on my skin? I used to be like a Bath and Body Workser, and I'd smell fruity and delicious, but once I started thinking about it, it's like, okay, first of all, it kind of burns when I'm putting it on my skin, so that's not a good sign. And when I went to my dermatologist, he was just telling me, he was like, anything that is scented is not good for you. All that is just additives, something that your skin can potentially react to. He did recommend Ceraphil for my skin cleaner for my face. I didn't find it too great, to be honest. It could work for someone who has less skin issues than myself, but I honestly, and then this is my husband's secret, okay? Like, he does not look his age. He exfoliates every night, like a major exfoliator. It's nothing expensive, nothing crazy. It's St. Ives oatmeal exfoliant, I believe. And it is a hard exfoliant, but his skin is beautiful and soft. I don't know if, I'm sure everyone does know, a man who almost looks like they have like a leather type skin. What happens is, if you don't exfoliate your face enough, the skin will just keep piling on top of the old skin, and then you'll get that leathery, thick looking skin. And that can even contribute to some sagging of the face, because all that extra weight will be pulling down of the extra skin. So definitely you want to exfoliate a couple times a week. He does it every day. If your skin can handle it, I say go for it. But that is definitely a good, I don't exfoliate every single night because my skin is more sensitive than his. I do it probably every other night, but on the other days I use Dove White, and it cleans off all of my makeup. I do use a makeup wipe before I get into the tub or the shower, but Dove White is really gentle on the skin. It has the least amount of chemicals, and it's your best bet. You'll still smell good. You might not smell super froofy, but it's the best bet definitely for your skin health. And then, like we talked about earlier, today it's going to be hot. You want to hydrate. Dehydration is a huge, has a huge effect on the skin. And then like your overall health, like almost everything that goes on in your body, like as for like making a red blood cell or just like collagen development, all of that requires water. So water, more water, less like Ryan Trahan would say, less fun drinks. You can have some fun drinks. I try to limit my husband to a couple Dr. Peppers a day. Drinking more than that, it's just excessive. It's not a good habit to pick up, and that's more chemicals that you're adding to your body. Everything that we do consume and put on our skin and put into our bodies is tested on animals. Animals do not always have the same reaction as humans, so that is something to note. And then they test it on animals, and they show you that, okay, this is a safe level. This is a level that is not causing tumors or sicknesses in the mice. So this is why we consider this the safe level. Well, if you're drinking 6 and you're exceeding the safety level at that point. So it's not a good idea for not only your budget, for your pantry, but for your body. So that's always something to remember. And then really just trying to be aware about what we're putting into our body when it comes to food. We can only try to clean it up, because you'll never have a perfect eating regimen we're exposed to, and you have a big variety in your garden. You're pretty much stuck in the same position that everyone else is in. We do need to, as a group, make more of an effort to demand good, wholesome products, not only for ourselves, but for our children, for our bodies that are producing children. I hate how, like, when you get pregnant, they're like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, but then they're pummeling all of this stuff into our food, which is not safe. I don't care what anyone says. It's like, I don't want any chemical in my body at that point. So we just have to be careful and not believe everything that is put out there. You have to do your own research, fact check, fact compare, and really, like I said, with me, like wanting to excessively snack, instead of grabbing my snack and it's like, oh, pity party in my head, and instead of doing that, I grab my hula hoop. I feel better about the decision that I made. I feel less helpless. I feel more in control. So replacing a bad habit with a good habit is always the best bet. Instead of just trying to eliminate the bad habit, replace it with something that you enjoy. You know, life is short. We have to enjoy the little bit of time that we do get for ourselves, and it's just something to remember. I know a lot of people watch my hoop videos and is like, what the hell is this adult lady doing hula hooping? But it just makes me happy, and I don't care about the judgment, because I'm just hoping one day that everyone can find something that makes them as happy as my hooping does. So if you're looking for a good habit, check out my store. I would be happy to help you guys pick a size. I love spreading the joy of hula hooping to everyone. I've made, I wonder how many hoops I have made. Very interesting. I'm not sure. I'd have to go look at my stats. But, so like, you know, I'm always telling you guys, go use AI, go use AI. Well, I asked AI, I was like, I need help with my hula hoop business, and the AI's like, oh wow, that's so cool, like what a unique business. I see your products are innovative and creative. You know, it went analyze my website for me. It put a different perspective on it that I never have. I had the mentality of corporate America, like more, where Gronk on AI was telling me, he was like, well, think about it, like how many hula hoops can you physically make in a week, along with all of the other tasks that you're required to do, you know, to maintain your daily life? And I was like, that's a good question. I've never even, you know, put a limit on myself. I was just going to keep working until, you know, I don't know. That's just the mentality I think we're all kind of stuck in. And it's like, more is not always better. But the perspective that AI put on the hula hoop production was just very interesting. You know, like you could literally ask it anything. I was talking to a local musician. He's an older guy, but he's innovative, he's smart, and he's willing to learn. But I was telling him, I was like, you can get AI to help you finish a song, help you finish a lyric, write you a business plan. Like the opportunities are really endless. So you just have to be creative with what you ask AI, but you can even ask it health questions, you know, like, I'm struggling with this. What is a solution that you can, what is a natural solution that you can recommend? A lot of people are getting away from the medical field Adderall for probably over 10 years, and out of curiosity, I knew that it was produced in China, and if China's much smarter than us, they're not going to put any boots on the ground and fight like barbarian men. They're going to use a smarter approach. So I was just thinking, I was like, hold up, are they trying to poison the youth, you know? Because most kids are on Adderall. Most kids are going to be hyperactive. That's just a thing. Like, I mean, that's a normal kid. We shouldn't be giving them this drug that I have a lot of experience with. I don't think it's healthy for the kids that are growing and developing. I don't think it's healthy for an adult, to be honest with you. But I was on the hamster wheel, just taking my medication, thinking that it was good. The doctor gave it to me, so it's okay. Well, now that I'm off of the medication, I realized that it was just really, I was taking it to feel normal, which is not good. And so I asked AI, I said, how many kids in China are on Adderall? It said very little. Adderall is highly regulated in China, that if you travel to China and you have an Adderall prescription, you can only take the amount that you need while you're there. That's how strict they are from keeping it away from their community. So that just got my wheels turning, and I was like, no offense to my doctor, I don't think he had ill intentions, but maybe it's just lack thereof knowledge or whatever. So I made the conscious decision. It was difficult for me to get off of it, but now I've been off of it for about a month and a half, 2 months, and I feel better than ever. My body feels normal again. You will have some side effects, you know, you're going to be tired, stuff like that, but never feel entrapped by a medication that you're taking voluntarily. Some medications are essential, but not as many as we think, you know? So that's just like, we can't just keep going through the motions. We have to want to make better decisions and want the knowledge, whether it's what we want to hear or not. You know, that's not what I wanted to hear. It's really not what I wanted to do, but I decided to make that decision for myself. So, like I said, small changes, guys, and wising up and just taking knowledge from each other and sharing is essential. I hope you guys have a great day.